You were a high school quarterback. What did this teach you most about discipline and leadership?
Well, being a high school quarterback, you were in control of the offense. You were in control of your huddle. Uh, that was an important feature back then because when I played, the coaches didn't call the plays, the quarterback called the plays. They may send in plays, but your teammates looked up to you to make the right decision at the right time.
Okay. Um, a little bit before your time, a number of sports had a complex relationship with segregation. Does this still linger around when you played football and then growing up at all?
Yeah, when I was playing high school ball, um, we played other teams in our own conference that did have one or two black players on the team. We didn't have any black players on our team, and I remember the first time I played against a black player, it felt funny to me even tackling a black player or having a black player
Mm-hmm.
tackle me, because growing up, my father would, well, our family was uh, somewhat prejudicial in our outlook toward blacks, I would say. However, my dad hired a lot of black folks because he was in the food service, and he had a real good connection with black folks. So that 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 played a role in the way that I looked at black folks. But nonetheless, the first time a black guy tackled me and I tackled him, and I looked down and I saw his black skin against my white hand, it gave me a funny feeling.
All right. What about you kind of went on and then you played football for Presbyterian College? Did you have any black teammates?
Had several black teammates, and as I progressed in my sports, I became more and more aware that the black athlete was in a especially some black athletes were very special, and uh, and were built to play sports,
Mm-hmm.
and had some good relationships with those guys.
How important have sports been your whole life?
Sports has always played a big role in my life because I played, starting out, played all sports. It just, back in the old days, or back in the day, you played the sport of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got to play baseball in baseball season, football season, ran track during track season. We didn't have soccer back when I played, but those were the three main sports. Besides basketball, I wasn't good enough to play high school basketball, but I enjoyed playing church basketball. So there was always something to do. It always kept me active after school, even in the summer playing baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It helped me organize my time, where I knew how much time I'd apply to sports, how much time I had to put to do my work at home, and then how much time I had to devote to my studies.
Who most influenced you in being interested in sports?
I would say both my parents. My dad was always wanting me to play different sports. He didn't play any sports coming through high school, but he always wanted me to. I always thought he did. He just kind of let me do what I wanted to do, and he was for whatever I wanted to do, and so was my mother, your grandma.
Um, okay, so as you kind of played sports as you were older, when you were younger, I'm sure you played and used a lot of your time to invest in playing like a lot of different games. So like croquet, like backyard games or whatever. How did that did you notice when you were younger that when you were just playing games that weren't necessarily sports, did they make you a little bit? Were you really competitive in that? Did that kind of make you have a sense of competitiveness when you were younger?
Well, it seems like any kind of recreational event that I played, you're always out to win.
Yeah.
Whether it was playing ping pong, shooting pool,
Mm-hmm.
swimming on the swim team, just you always wanted to be the best, and you wanted to finish first.
Yep.
So and I think that it's either built in, and you either have that or you don't. It can be coached up a little bit, but most athletes that that actually get better with time have that will to win.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a particular athlete who you looked up to growing up?
On the football side, you have to think way back. I always thought one of the Johnny Unitas, who was the quarterback for the Baltimore Colts at that time.
Mm-hmm.
He was a very unorthodox looking quarterback, tall and lanky, wore high top black lace up football shoes, but he could throw the ball as good or better than any quarterback at the time. So I always looked up to Johnny U. He was the guy. He was number 19.
Gotcha. What's your greatest memory in your sport days playing?
Oh, playing, I guess in high school it was winning the conference championship and the upper state championship uh, and beating a few rivals in high
Mm-hmm.
school. And then in college, at Presbyterian College, I remember one particular game in my freshman year. Some of us as freshmen got to play a little bit. We played Western Carolina. We scrimmaged them before the season in the summer, and they beat us by about 10 scores in the summer. And that same fall, we played them the next to the last game of the year, and they were undefeated at the time. They were going to the NAIA championship game if they beat us, and we beat them up
yeah.
at Western Carolina.
That's awesome. What's your greatest memory in watching sports? Like anything.
Um, It would the greatest memory would have to be the most recent greatest memory and most exciting game had to have been the Clemson Miami football game several years ago when C.J. Spiller played for Clemson and your brother and I were at that game. We went down to Miami to actually see the game. We did our road trip. And that game went into overtime and Clemson won, and it was one of the most exciting games I think I've ever seen Clemson play. For a Clemson game, since I'm a Clemson fan and went to graduate school there. Leighton was in Clemson at that time.
What's your, if you know what or remember, what's your greatest disappointment in playing and watching sports?
In playing and watching sports, well, playing on a personal level, probably losing to Greenwood High School in one of the upper state championship games my senior year in high school. That was probably my greatest personal disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
And then there have been multiple Super Bowl games and some other college football games that can't specifically put my finger on that have been disappointments when you were expecting one team to win and you're upset at the outcome.
What sport are you most is your favorite and why?
I guess I still go back to football because that's what the sport that I grew up on and I played personally. So that one, football is probably my favorite sport. However, basketball's got to be tied with it now for all the basketball connections we've had over the years and watching you play and grow up and doing those things.
All right, and finally, how do you think sports have changed you growing up or just in general?
Well, I don't know if sports has really changed me because starting out, sports can give you a mindset if you start out early enough and you continue on with it. It just becomes pre-programmed into your psyche and wanting to keep your body in shape. And that's something that can last a lifetime. And to maintain a healthy lifestyle, to help us live as long as we possibly can and stay in good shape and keep your mind in good shape, sports is there to help you do that because it lets you expend your energy, it tires you out, it gives you something to focus on, and it keeps your head clear, and it's not only a distraction, but it's just a way of life. It's a part of what your lifestyle is.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.